Welcome to the Big Four Accounting Firms podcast, brought to you by big4accountingfirms.com and the Big Four Accounting Firms YouTube channel. Before we get started, just wanted to remind everybody to support us if you have a chance or if you can. Even $1 helps, and we have a link in the description to a website called Buy Me a Coffee. It's just a way to donate to us and support us. Again, any amount is helpful so that we can keep putting out content. And there's also other ways for you to support us in the show notes to this podcast or on YouTube in the description. In today's podcast, I wanted to discuss something about KPMG. They recently announced that they're going to be delaying their results in the face of significant uncertainty. Now, as you might remember, KPMG's fiscal year end is at the end of September. And I said before that they typically release their results at the end of the year, sometime at the end of November or in December. But KPMG, and specifically in the UK, said that they will wait to release their results until 2021. But they also said that their business remains resilient and is focused on advising their clients as they respond to the demands of COVID-19. But they also say that there's significant uncertainty that remains about the future performance of the UK economy. And similar to other businesses, they're taking the steps to assess their first quarter results before they decide their year-end bonuses. And that's why they're delaying on releasing the results for KPMG's UK revenues. And as we know, KPMG recently laid people off. And now it makes sense why they laid people off, because they have uncertainty about their results. But not only uncertainty, there's probably bad results. And they're probably trying to understand what they're going to do as far as bonuses, whether they're just going to give no bonuses or what's going on. And as we saw at Deloitte had a pretty significant decrease in partner pay with their financial results. And so KPMG is probably also seeing that, and they're going to weigh how much bonus to give partners, but also staff. So this is just another gloomy step in the Big Four accounting firms. And even though equity markets are performing well, people still don't know how the economy is going to do, because you have these lockdowns and these pseudo lockdowns where the economy is kind of locked down, but it's not. And the government can step in and shut something down at a moment's notice. And if that's possible, well, you can't forecast revenue, because you might have a client that has revenue today that won't have revenue tomorrow. So it's difficult for KPMG to figure out what the future is going to be. But this is just another instance of bad news as regards to employee pay and raises at the Big Four accounting firms. And I also think I have a theory about what's going to happen, right? Because right now we're in these quarterly periods for companies. And companies can kind of mess around with the results and make them look a little bit better than they typically would. But come year end, similar to the past financial crisis, if you remember the past financial crisis, all of it started in the beginning of 2007 when 10K started coming out. And I think that's going to happen again this year. People are getting kind of hyped up and excited that the economy is turning around and things are getting better. But we still have the winter to go as far as flu season and COVID second, third wave, whatever you want to call it, comes along. And then the results on the business. And then companies can fudge their quarterly numbers, but it's a little bit harder to fudge your year-end numbers. And I think that's when the economic result of all this COVID stuff is really going to start hitting, and we might get another wave of panic, and you're going to have companies taking these strange measures. But here, delaying the results is pretty significant. And so we might not see KPMG's full global year-end results either until later on. But we'll have to wait to see what happens there and what that determination is. So there's potentially more layoffs, more pay cuts, more hiring cuts coming. And nobody can give you a certainty of what's going on, because nobody's certain of what's going to happen in the economy or related to COVID. That's the podcast for today. To stay up to date on all the Big Four news, make sure to subscribe to this podcast. Support us financially through the Buy Me a Coffee link in the show notes if you can. If you can't, make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and like this video on our YouTube channel. Thanks for listening.